Everyone thinks going low-tox means throwing away everything in your house and spending hundreds of pounds replacing them all. It doesn't. In fact, if you're just getting started, I will tell you to do the exact opposite. Because today I'm going to show you how to start your journey without throwing away a single thing. Hi, my name is Simone, and over the last few years, I've been learning how to reduce my family's exposure to ultra-processed foods as well as unnecessary chemicals. And if you've been wanting to make healthier choices for yourself and for your family and don't know where to start, then this video is for you. Let's start with what low-tox living actually means, because I think it's one of those words that are being used a lot or are being thrown around, but nobody actually explains what it means. For me, it's not about living in fear or trying to remove every single chemical from your life, because that's actually impossible. It's simply about reducing your family's exposure to unnecessary chemicals as well as ultra-processed foods where practical. That might mean choosing foods with fewer additives, using cleaning products with cleaner or simpler ingredients, swapping out plastic where necessary, or cooking with cookware that doesn't have any coatings that you're not comfortable with. Every small choice might seem insignificant on its own, but over time, those small choices do add up. The problem is when people first discover low-tox living, they think that they have to change everything overnight immediately. Every cleaning product, every pan, every bottle, every piece of plastic. And that's enough to make anyone give up even before they've started. So if you're just starting, this is the approach I want you to remember. I want you to think replenishables, not replacement. A replacement is throwing something away before it's finished. A replenishment is waiting until you've naturally run out and then choosing a better version. Don't throw anything away. Use what you already have. Then every time you run out, simply ask yourself, is there a better version I could replace this with? That's it. What does this actually look like in real life? Well, let me show you a few of the easiest replenishments you can start with. Throughout this video, I'm going to be mentioning a few brands that I personally like. These aren't the only good options out there. These are just to give you some ideas as to where to start, because I know that it can be very overwhelming when you're trying to choose. Let's start with salt, because this is one of my favorite examples. So next time you run out of table salt, instead of replacing it with what you're currently using, think about replacing it with something like Celtic salt or pink Himalayan salt. We all know salt comes from the sea, right? So when you picture salt that has literally been harvested from the ocean, does it look more like this? Or does it look more like this? Table salt has been heavily refined, so most of its naturally occurring minerals have been stripped off. Celtic salt is much less processed, which is why it still has its natural gray color and slightly damp texture. It's still salt, so I'm not saying eat more of it. But if you're buying salt anyway, I'd rather choose something that is much less processed. Next is something like your washing up liquid. So next time you run out of your fairy liquid, instead of just grabbing another one because that's what you've always bought, just pause for a second and think, is there a cleaner version of this? I personally like brands like Minimal, Faith in Nature, and Boa Collective. The same goes for cleaning sprays. So when next your kitchen spray runs out, instead of replacing it with Dettol or Mr. Muscle, have a look at brands like Green Sense, The Green Co, or Purdy and Fig, or better still, you can make your own. Laundry detergent is another easy one. Next time you run out of any of these, think of replacing them with cleaner versions like Arborfield, Green Sense, or Kitten Kin. Next time your toothpaste runs out, don't just pick up a tube of the same one you've always used. Have a look at brands like Botology, Georganics, Truthpaste. And I recently came across this brand called My Green Routine, and they have these toothpaste tablets made with really clean ingredients, so which I thought was really cool. Toilet paper is another simple swap. So next time you're buying, have a look at a brand called the Cheeky Panda, if you haven't tried it. Deodorant is another thing I'll look at. So next time you run out, think of replacing with brands like Fuzzy or Sweet Bee Organic. And then we have something like tea bags. If you're a tea drinker like me, next time your tea runs out, have a look at plastic-free unbleached bag options like Clipper and Hampstead Tea. And then we have something like body wash. So next time you run out of any of your favorites, think of replacing it with something like Faith in Nature or Boa Collect. And even something like shampoo, you can use Faith in Nature. I personally use Faith in Nature shampoo at the moment. If you've forgotten every single brand I've mentioned in this video by tomorrow, that's absolutely fine. I don't want you to remember brands. I just want you to remember the mindset that you should adopt from now on. Every time you run out of something at home, instead of just replacing it with something that you currently use, just pause for a second and think, is there a cleaner version of this? And that's how I have gradually transformed my home, just by replenishing things as they run out. And I'm still very much on the journey myself. I haven't made a complete swap of everything. I'm just replenishing as I go along. If you found this helpful, I'd love for you to hit the like button and subscribe, because next week we're going to cover the one skill that transformed the way that I shop: how to read ingredients. Because once you know what you're looking for, you will never look at the supermarket shelf the same ever again.